What's up, y'all? Happy Sunday. 3 questions you can ask to get the promotion conversation started or to even explore the opportunity. Sorry for the background. I'm traveling for work right now, but I wanted to keep my commitment to get a video done once a week. And this is something that's kind of on my mind just based on the day-to-day in my life at this time. So with that being said, 3 things to think about as you get ready to bring up the promotion conversation or potentially explore the promotion conversation. I do want to go on a quick tangent, quick sidebar. It's a really interesting time in the world right now. Just about every business is hiring, has a now hiring sign up, or is having a hard time finding great folks. So whether this is your first job or whether you've been in the same role or the same company for 5 or 10 or 15 years, whatever's specific to your instance or your situation, I think that these 3 questions could potentially open up conversation that you haven't considered or haven't had previously. The reason it's important to note the context of the world right now is that it's really hard to find good people. And if you're working in a job and you're showing up on time and you're working your 20 hours a week or you're working your 50 hours a week, if you have the opportunity to make a few more bucks or to take on more responsibility and just leverage that experience later in life, specific to wherever you're living, whatever you're pursuing, whatever your interests, passions are, etc. What does this mean? Where am I going with this? Ultimately, if you have considered asking about the next thing, if you've considered growing with your existing company. Sometimes we wait for an individual or our manager or a leader to bring that information to us. And my point is, I don't think there's ever been a better time to be proactive in regards to the opportunity you have, the career you're pursuing, the career or the industry you're currently working in. And I'd encourage you to ask these 3 questions. They're simple, but I'll explain the why behind each one of them. Obviously, these 3 questions will not get you promoted, but they can start the conversation. And if you're in the right mindset, they can get the ball rolling, so to speak, in pursuit of where you want to go and potentially where you want to be in a reasonable amount of time. First question I encourage you to ask is, what are the opportunities, right? No matter what job you're in, hopefully in some form or fashion, you have touch points or feedback sessions with your manager, your leader, whatever the case may be. In some instances, that could be, hey, how are you doing? Do you need anything? In other instances, it could be an annual performance review. But to inquire about your opportunities, I would consider you to kind of go 2 routes with that, both your personal opportunities and then your career opportunities, right? So what can I get better at? And what opportunities do I have to grow with the company, right? In some cases, you may have other obligations that maybe allow you to only go so far or only take so much responsibility. But in a lot of cases, especially as of late, a lot of employers, a lot of industries have learned to be very flexible with folks who bring a lot of value to their organization. That just puts you in the driver's seat. So my first question I would consider you to ask, whether it's your manager, your leader, in any instance, is what are the opportunities? Both for myself personally and my day-to-day, what can I get better at? Also, what are my opportunities to grow, right? You don't know what you don't know, meaning if you don't ask, in some cases, some folks may not give you the answer that you're looking for or that you don't even know you're looking for. So to ask that question can really open up some good conversation, put you in the driver's seat and give you a lot to consider. Second question I'd encourage you to ask is, how can I get there? If you know where you want to go, asking how you can get there is probably the most important question. You can't get to work if you don't know the directions to turn, right? You can't go on vacation if you don't know where you're headed. So in the same breath, whatever career pursuits you have, whatever industry you're in, or whatever role you want to work in the company you're working for, or whatever role you want to work in the company you want to work for, asking how you can get there is frankly the easiest way to determine, call them lead measures, actions, or behaviors that you need to take to get where you want to go, right? Let me clarify something. Asking the question is not going to get you promoted. Doing the answer that's provided will get you promoted. So I want to leave you with that. Once again, please remember that it's not just asking the question, it's doing something with the information provided. So once again, what are my opportunities? How can I get there? Lastly, what can I continue to do? What can I improve on? What can I do better, right? So it's a multifaceted question, but it leaves a lot of room for your manager, your leader, in any instance to provide you with some specifics. So what can I continue to do? What can I get better at? And what can I learn to do, right? There's a couple different ways you could probably formulate or present that question, but a direct answer, or at least a direct ask, usually yields a direct answer in which you're able to take back with you, either improve on the next day, the next week, the next month. This isn't all inclusive. If you're given an answer you don't understand, you might have to ask some follow-up questions. How? When? Where? Or what? is often some examples of where the conversation could go after you provide some insight. Obviously, I've given you a lot of examples. They may seem broad, they may seem vague, but I'm going to give you some made up examples that might relate to real life, right? Let's imagine somebody's first job. They're in college, they're working part-time, and they're in retail, right? It's tough to find great people right now, but maybe they love the company they work for. Maybe they're in retail and maybe they're just a cashier or customer service associate, whatever the case may be. But maybe they want to grow, or maybe they don't know if they want to grow or not. They just don't know what they don't know. A lot of companies offer tuition reimbursement, tuition assistance, and obviously as you take on more responsibility, typically you make more money. So with that being said, I'm going to give you a real life example. Let's say Alan works at a retail store and he wants to explore further opportunity. He needs to find his manager, whether it's his general manager or shift manager, whatever the case may be. He needs to say, hey, what are the opportunities? What opportunities do I have? And what opportunities does the company provide, right? Maybe the manager says, well, what do you mean? He may say, well, I'm interested in potentially growing with the company or taking on more responsibility. I still have some limitations to my schedule, but I'd like to know if I have the opportunity to grow. The manager may say, absolutely. We're looking for a part-time manager. We're looking for a full-time manager with this availability. They could say something like, the support office down the street is hiring. So your next question would be, how can I get there? Depending on where you want to go, how can I get there? If you have a good manager, even a decent manager in any industry, they should be able to provide you a roadmap to where you want to go, or at least point you in the right direction. So after you've determined that, I think a good way to end the conversation, or at least keep the conversation going, is where can I go? What can I get better at? How can I get there? What can I get better at? And what do I need to continue to do or improve upon, right? With those three questions, some subsets of those questions, you can leave a short conversation or a longer conversation with someone who works for your company with hopefully a lot of information to take back with yourself and to do something with. So I know I've rambled a little bit, but ultimately I think that sometimes we wait for the information to come to us. And I really encourage you, if you're eager to explore opportunities that you have with your organization, if you're eager to explore opportunities that you have and you need to make more money or you need more experience, ask the questions, get the conversation started. These three questions, these three inquiries will not get you promoted. So they will get the conversation started. And if you're bought in, you put the time and the energy and the effort in, you might be surprised what happens. I've said that in a few other videos, but you might be surprised what happens. I'll leave you with one more thing. It's one of my favorite quotes. It can be applied to relationships, family, school, but in this case, we'll apply it to our professional career. I think a lot of times, like I said at the beginning of the video, we get it twisted and we think that promotions or further opportunity or more money are based on seniority or how close you are to your manager. I don't necessarily think so. I think typically folks' greatest success comes from doing the things that others can do but choose not to, right? So what I mean is I don't think it's more complicated than that. I think it's hard work, but it's not complex. So if you're sitting here and you're 18, 19, 20 years old and you wonder what's next in your life, you may not know the answer, but you may want to move out. You may want to buy a car. And in order to do so, you may have to take a leap of faith in the career you're working in, the industry you're working in, or whatever is specific to your circumstance. Ask some questions, do the things that others can do but choose not to, show up early, go above and beyond, stay a little late, ask a couple times a day, what can I do? Hey, I'm done with my tasks. What can I help you with? Hey, what can you teach me today? I haven't learned this yet. And a lot of times, especially in today's climate where it's hard to find good folks, I think you might be surprised with the opportunity you create for yourself. So that's what I'll leave you with. Did this video in one take, besides a couple of coughs. So hopefully it works. I haven't said this yet, but comment, like, subscribe if you are interested in the videos, or if I can go a totally different route, answer a totally different question. I'm happy to run with any topics that anybody's interested in and do my best to offer some type of value. So appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great week and we'll see you next one. Bye.